Yo,
We are Brooke and Sid.
and we're talking BS.
Belief systems, of course. Thoughts create our realities, and we are passionate about creating better thoughts.
Join us as we figure out life from the inside out. Figure out what's holding you back and how to get out of your own way. Come join us as we talk BS. Yo!
Hey, legend!
Welcome to another episode of Talking BS.
Yeah.
We are excited for this one because this is like a little insight into us.
Yes, it's a host Q&A today.
Get to know your BS talkers
A little bit
a little bit
deeper.
better. Yeah. So we had some questions sent in from our incredible listeners
We
and
did. Thank you
viewers
so
on
much.
Insta. Thank you. Thanks for
Are we
sending-
famous?
Oh, I don't
To our 200
Thank you.
Instagram subscribers. No, they're not
We'll
subscribers on Instagram.
send you an autographed something. I don't have anything to send.
Me neither. Just thank you so much.
Just
We
come give us a
appreciate you
high
all.
five. Yeah. Questions. Some of the questions we got were awesome. They were like super insightful.
Yes. So it's
Super,
not just
yeah.
like, what's your name?
Nah, I'm
'Cause we know
Brooke,
that.
and this is Sid.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's a bit more advice related, I feel.
Yes.
A
yeah.
bit more how's our mind wired?
Specific about some of those BSs and
Yeah.
some problems to tackle, which I love.
Yeah,
It
a
was
little
so
bit,
sick.
yeah, and hopefully there's something for everyone to take away from in this episode. Well, we hope everyone takes away something in our episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, let's start with some of the more like get to know you questions because they were
Yeah.
more chill. Like the first one I love is just how did we meet?
Yeah, it's a nice one.
How did we meet?
Well, you were my first teacher. You were my teacher first, I mean.
I was your teacher first.
Yeah, you were a hip hop teacher.
Hip hop.
Yeah.
Man, that's where it started. Yep. When you started full time, you came from. Was that your first year in full time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
No, second.
second
Second
year
year
in
full-time.
That's when I was here.
Yeah, because you were originally from Melbourne.
I was from Melbourne.
So
and I just
you
moved
weren't
up.
here for the first year, but then, yeah, Sid, I remember the first class I have with you because you do that rap.
I do
Sid
a
has
rap.
like a specific rap that he does every time he starts a class, and
History
it's
of
so
hip-hop.
unique and so cool. Did you pick that up?
I did.
That's cool.
I wrote it for a show.
That's really cool. I like that.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you're
use
really
it
creative.
just wherever I go.
And it like wakes people up because
Yeah.
who starts a class with a rap unless your name's Sid?
It's me.
But yeah, we met through dancing, and I teach for you now.
Yeah. Teach me
So
studio.
Sid owns the studio and I work there, and we have this podcast. But I think one thing that drew us closer to each other is that one night I was training for the sirens, the cheerleading. And you were there for some reason, I don't know why, just late at night. And then we were locking up the studio and we sat outside the studio and just talked for 2 hours. And our minds just like,
Same
we're the
frequency.
same person.
Same. Yeah, that was probably the first time I'd had a conversation like that up here on the Gold Coast as well.
Yeah.
For me, that was a big like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not often you find people that are on this plane, but when you do,
Yeah.
they listen to Talk and BS.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
That's you guys. Yeah, that's how we met. So it was awesome that it was our passion for dance that kind of united us. Something completely unrelated to our mindset stuff.
Yeah.
Like we were both thinking these things or feeling
the
this way about the universe
yeah.
in our own little heads.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like just floating around by ourselves.
No.
And it wasn't until we sat down and had the first convo.
So the next question
Yep.
is, what made you get into this sort of work?
Ah, nice.
So, like, was there a pivotal point for you that you went, oh, actually, the universe is pretty cool?
Yeah,
Was
I think.
there?
I think it was the seed that was planted by my parents on my 18th birthday.
Oh,
So most people's parents on their 18th birthday throw them a party and like, let's get you drunk, or
Yeah.
yeah. My parents sent me for a 3-day mindset workshop.
did they?
Yep. So it was a program called Humans Being More, and that's what I got for my 18th birthday. And so in that workshop, I learned all about the power of intention,
Wow.
gratitude.
Thanks, Mum and Dad.
Thanks, Mum and Dad. Flip the script early, because that really that's when I didn't even know what the work was.
Yeah.
I just suddenly developed this vocabulary for this whole new language.
On your 18th. Wow, that's an interesting present.
Yeah.
Because mine was, let's get lit.
Yeah.
Like, I went to the clubs and I was like, ah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, mine was not that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So that was like the first initiation to the universe. And you know what? I feel like as soon as you get that little insight, you're like, whoa, okay, game on. Like this is, I don't know if anyone else is the same, but I was kind of, my dad's very spiritual sort of and like very universe orientated, and you know, I love thinking about what happens when we die, and I love thinking there's got to be more, right? Like, we're so tiny and insignificant. There's just got to be more. And I think just over the years, every time he spoke about the universe, or anytime he spoke about, you know, just so many manifestations, like things that aren't there in front of you, but things that work, like manifestations and meditations, it just makes me go, oh yeah, like that makes sense. Like, when something just makes sense, how can you ignore that?
So you lived it.
Yeah, I was just always, I don't know, he would say things and then I'd be like, yeah, I 100% agree with that.
That was your truth.
Yeah. So it wasn't a pivotal time for me. It was just a natural
It was always like that.
Yeah. And the more he said, the more I was like, yeah, I agree.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Done.
So
and as a kid, if you have that drills into you as a kid, then you don't know any different.
Okay, so let's go on to our next question, which is, what's the worst and best advice that you have received?
I love this question.
I've actually written the question down, saying, what's the worst and best that you have received advice?
What is
Same thing.
Same thing. We understand what it means. The order of words makes little importance.
That's it.
Intention is everything.
Yeah.
Intention is everything.
Yeah.
The worst, I want to start probably with the worst advice that I've
great.
received. It was relationship advice. And
Which is, what I've figured out, I've learned so much about relationships, and it really interests me, is that basically everything we're taught is backwards.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you actually figure out how men are wired and how women are wired, I almost can't comprehend how people are in heterosexual relationships.
Right.
That's a man and a woman, right?
Yeah.
We're so
How's that
different.
working out for you?
We're so different.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, we're there to, we complement each other and stuff.
That's right.
Our thinking styles are sometimes so polar opposite that
they work.
That's how they balance.
That's how they unify.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But it's until you learn how the other person's wired, you assume that they're wired like you.
Totally.
In a similar sense.
Because you look at the world through your own lens.
Oh man, we couldn't be more different.
No.
So that's why I feel like bad relationship advice is a lot of what's out there.
So common. So I was talking to this older married couple. I was like, what is the secret to your success? You look happily married. And they turned around to me and said, in your relationship, when your partner asks you a question or wants to do something, just say yes. As long as it's not illegal, immoral, or no one else gets hurt, just say yes. And it was the fundamental of happy wife, happy life. Keep the other person happy.
Did that come from the man or the woman?
It came from the man.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yep. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That seems to have worked for you.
Yeah.
But I followed that too religiously, too precisely, to the point where I would be saying yes to things that probably needed a no, or I needed to put a boundary up on, and I wasn't putting boundaries up because I was like, well, this isn't illegal, immoral, and I wasn't really considering the fact that the person getting hurt was myself.
Yes.
And I was like, well, no one else is getting hurt.
Yes.
But I was always willing to make a sacrifice.
Yes.
Feeling like I it's fine if I get hurt.
Yeah.
That's for the happiness of the whole happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
That was just bad advice.
Bad advice.
Don't do it.
No.
Nah.
If anything, what I've learned is that you should say no more often. What I've learned, one thing... no.
No. No.
That's an no from me. One
go.
thing I've learned from men is that women try and do more and more and more and more. We think that men want more from us, so we do more. We take on too much and then we resent them for not giving us the same that we're giving. What men actually want is us to do less and appreciate them more.
Yeah.
So I said to my partner, Jack, I was like, would you literally rather, if I had a stressful day and I came home and I was like, hey, can you cook dinner? Because I cooked it last night and I need to do this and the house is dirty, so I'm going to start cleaning. Can you just cook dinner? Would you find that more beneficial for the relationship? Or would you find if I came home from a stressful day and I was like, hey, can you cook dinner? I'm just going to go and relax. I'm going to go take a bath. Would you mind looking after this dinner? It would help me a lot. He was like, the second one. And I was like, to a woman, that almost feels guilty. Because we're such giving people.
Yeah.
And if I love someone, I'm going to give all that I can to them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to think, I need to do more. I need to clean the house to make a nice house. I need to cook dinner to, provide. But men actually want women to do less. They want you to say no and appreciate them for doing what they can. Because the more that women do, the more we resent men for not doing. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So saying no is a good thing in a relationship.
We spoke about in a previous episode, as a man, we're here to provide.
Yeah.
You provide, protect, and profess.
Yes.
The whole Steve Harvey thing. And
Yeah.
if you take away the ability to provide, that can be emasculating.
Yeah, and if you don't appreciate them for doing their best.
Yep.
Yeah. So saying yes in a marriage or a relationship is not the best thing you should do.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree with that.
Love that. What's your worst advice? Worst.
Well, yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and I don't really grab onto advice and run with that. I don't have, apart from the one that I really like, which is living the dash,
Yeah.
which means essentially you have a birth date and a death date, and everything in between is a dash. It's just a little reminder to say, live the dash, bro.
Live the
You're gonna
dash.
die soon. You're in the dash at the moment. You're alive.
In the moment, yeah, the now, yeah.
But that's probably the only advice that I ever live by.
That's good advice.
That's good advice, yes.
Yeah.
But when it comes to bad advice, I don't ever, hang on to it very much and let my life be guided by it. But some bad advice that I do hear get thrown around a lot. Well, advice that I hear that I class as bad advice that I wouldn't live by is the saying, keep your friends close but your enemies closer.
Cuddle your enemies.
Why? Who is that going to benefit?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
If they don't like you, why would you have that energy around you? If you have enemies, peace them out. Bye. That's a you problem. I don't need that. Bye. Get away from me.
You don't need it.
If you don't like me, literally turn around. I want people that like me around me to raise my vibe, why keep your enemies close? Why? Why would someone do that?
Silly. But if you have a reason to, let us know. I don't think it's,
I think the only reason would be to kind of predict.
But even then, it's you caring about what someone else is doing.
That's the thing.
One of the best things.
Why do you care? Especially if they don't like you.
Yep.
Why do you care in general? But if they're going to say negative things about you, why then again? That gives you less reason to have them close to you. Something I see as bad advice anyway,
Yeah.
Some people might like it, but for me, I'm like,
fair enough. Doesn't work for you. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't waste that energy.
Why have bad energy around you?
Yeah.
And it's not my fault you don't like me.
No.
It's your fault.
That's on you.
That's a you thing. That's a you problem.
Deal with that.
You've made that a problem.
Yep.
It's your, go away.
I love that. Okay, so flip the script. Good advice. You already gave us one that was awesome.
Live the dash.
Live the dash.
Yes, but I want to say one other
give
that
us
was
more.
given to
More
me. And
wisdom.
it was by Mr. Anthony Eichen, our next guest, actually, on the podcast. He's really amazing. If you're struggling with self-confidence, listen to this next episode and he will absolutely blow your mind away with the positive attitude he has on the daily.
Yeah.
One thing he said to me is when I started full-time was just show up.
Just show up.
Just show up.
That's it.
Don't show up and smash the day. Don't
Just
show
show
up
up.
and have expectations that you're going to nail everything.
Yep.
You just show up.
Yep.
If sometimes you get out of bed and all you have is 20% in your battery pack.
Yep.
You show up with that 20%.
You do 100% if you're 20%.
Yeah.
That's it. You just
That's
do the
all you
most.
can ask. And as a teacher, I'm like, if you only have 60% today, give me 60.
Yep.
Just give me what you got. Just show up. You showing up, but it's not only showing up to a location, showing up to your mind. It's showing up to your friends. It's showing up to literally everything and everyone in your life. Just show up to the best of your ability.
You show up to yourself. If you just show up as the best version of yourself that you can muster at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
and that's
that.
the thing. It's like just showing up doesn't mean killing the game.
No.
It doesn't mean giving it 100% every day because you don't have that.
Yeah.
And it's normal to not feel 100% every day. It's just show up.
Do the most.
Just do the best you can. But what's your good advice? That was mine, but what's yours?
Mine is, I got this when I was training over in LA, and I'd be in a room, in a studio, dancing, and just feel so so overwhelmed by the number of people that were in that room, and just feel so self-conscious.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed. when you
Yeah.
dance.
And especially in that room where, we've trained here in Australia, and you're in a room of 20 to 30 dancers or whatever, and then you go over there and you've got 100-something people in a room, and it just multiplied that overwhelm and anxiety I was feeling. And it wasn't until a friend broke it down and told me that those 100 people, it didn't matter if there were 2 people in a room or 102 people in the room, everyone was just looking at themselves in the mirror.
Yeah.
No one was looking at me.
Everyone is just a side character in your life. Now flip it as well. You're just a side character in everyone else's life.
Absolutely. Like, no one cares.
No
Everyone
one
is so
cares,
self-absorbed and so...
And if they do, it's because they're hurting.
Yeah.
Like if they do, I feel like you stress about what other people think or you stress that everyone's looking at you because you think they're going to be thinking bad things.
Yep.
If you walked into that room and you're like, everyone's looking at me because I'm Beyonce,
Yeah.
then it wouldn't be scary.
No.
So the reason you think and you have that fear.
That you're pulling everyone else in. That's
Yeah,
great. That's
yeah.
when you carry that energy, people do look.
It's great.
Yeah.
You should do it. I do it sometimes.
Oh,
I just walk
absolutely.
into a room and I'm like, I am Brooke.
Yeah. Oh, something I teach, something I love teaching is that, one of the taglines of the studio is dance like everyone's watching.
Yeah.
Because everyone tries to profess and teach you to dance like no one's watching, but that doesn't help you live a confident life.
No.
That just teaches you to dance in your lounge room.
Yeah.
Dance like you're in a lounge, but dance like you're
like everyone
front
is
and
watching.
yeah, you're front and center. You're comfortable
Yeah.
with everyone watching.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I realized that's, and when you live in that world where you're just then focused on yourself and you're not looking at anyone else, no one's looking at you,
Yep.
you can get to the point where you can dance like everyone's watching.
Yeah.
You
And
learn
have
to
a
be
fabulous
Beyonce.
time.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
So that's the good advice that
Yeah.
helped change, was able to take that out of the studio and apply that to life.
That is good advice.
Next question.
Question.
Oh, speaking of advice, what's the one piece of advice you would tell your younger self?
Yeah, if I could do anything,
Yep.
I would love to go back to my younger self.
Yep.
I'd just love to flip her out.
Yo.
Because she'd be like, what?
Just to tell her what you're doing
You're doing
now.
that? So cool.
Yep.
I remember there was before I started dancing, I was walking in the shops at Rocky and I saw a chaperone, like a Easter bunny girl walking with the Easter bunny. And I was like, how do I be you?
Wow, you thought that then?
Yeah.
Amazing.
But I was like, I want to be you. Like,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to get there.
Yep.
But now that's
That's
an easy job to pick up.
easy.
Like, I've done so much cooler stuff than that.
Yeah.
Like, so much cooler stuff than that. And it's just, I'd love to flip her out.
Yeah.
Because she'd be like, oh,
It's almost going back to your younger self and being like, you're fine.
yeah.
You know,
You're all good.
You're all good. You're on the right path. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah. Just follow your dreams.
Yeah.
Literally. If you think it's a good idea, it's a good idea.
Do it. Because I think that was the big thing for me as well, is the uncertainty. There was so much uncertainty in my life, and I'd look at my peers or even my bro. My bro was so certain of what he wanted to do, and I was almost jealous of that. Coming out of school, he knew exactly where he wanted to go, and I almost formed that early pathway from high school into university out of a process of elimination. Like, rather than being certain that this is what I wanted to do, the passion and drive was there.
Yeah.
But the other BS, all of the external narrative was so strong that I wasn't completely aligned with my being.
That's so interesting because I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
I thrive in uncertainty.
Yeah.
I thrive in not knowing what I'm going to do because that's when the best ideas come to me.
But it wasn't just complete the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
It was in uncertainty in that I was being told to take a path.
But I never had that too.
You
Isn't
didn't-
that interesting?
Yeah. And I felt uncomfortable on that
I wonder
path.
if
I didn't
people
like
feel the
myself.
pressure like that. That would
I'm
make
sure,
sense if
yeah.
they're like, this is what you should do. No
Yep.
one ever told me what I should do.
Yeah, right.
I never had that stress.
Yep.
And it made for such an awesome life. So if someone's out there telling you something that you should do and you don't know if you should do it, ignore them.
Trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
Like, your gut is that higher calling. You know, when people say they find their purpose, I love that saying that there are the two most important days in a person's life.
Yeah.
Is the day they're born and the day they find out why.
Wait, that's cool. That's cool.
I love that. I got to Google that quote because I didn't come up with that.
Yeah.
Someone else did, but I live by that, and it's so poignant when you have that feeling in your gut
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
trust it.
Yeah. And so many people are so scared to act on it
Yeah.
because probably of what they're told what they should do.
Oh, absolutely. I'm about to go and give a keynote on exactly this.
Yes.
Just the power of creativity in my life.
Yeah.
In following that uncontrollable urge to create.
Yeah.
Dance. This is an illness I suffer from. It's called tarantism. Look it up.
Tarantism.
Tarantism. Psychological illness. Self-diagnosed. Don't throw me a pity party. But you can do it if you want to. So it's an uncontrollable urge to dance. And I believe we all have an uncontrollable urge to do something.
Yep.
And, it may not be something necessarily creative. Your creative expression may be Excel spreadsheets.
maths.
You might love science. You might might love finger painting.
Yeah.
You might love spoken word.
Might love, what's it called?
Reading. Is that what you're
Dissecting
doing?
bugs.
No. Dissecting. Yeah. There's something for everyone.
It's like an itch inside
Yep.
you. If you can feel that itch towards something, just do it.
Yeah, and then I think some of the best advice. I was once told that if you do something you love, you will do it with a passion that cannot be matched by just doing a job.
Yeah.
And then in that journey, you will become the best at it.
Yeah.
Because you love it.
Yeah.
And then you will be able to monetize it if you have enough value.
Yeah.
Because you're the best at what you do. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's a much better narrative.
Yeah.
Than go to school, get good grades, get into a good
Yeah.
university course, get a good job,
Yeah.
and bang, success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I would I tell my younger self to go back and trust that internal pull.
Yeah, good.
Because there was so much doubt, fear and doubt. I mean, I'm so grateful that I ended up listening to that calling and following that and turning away from the things that were causing me fear and doubt. But I often, had I known that sooner, what would life have been?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd tell my younger self, just that she's a legend.
Yeah.
Just keep being a legend.
Keep being a ledge.
I don't know, I think I remember feeling so odd one day when I was like young, like maybe 10 or 12, and being like, I know I'm different, I just don't know why. Like I know that because my ability to just drop things when I don't like them anymore was so strong. It used to annoy the hell out of my sister. Like we were doing this one thing, like we were making a pulley system, because back in the day when there were no phones, when everything was black and white in the dinosaur ages when I was young, we used to just create like projects.
Using your imagination?
Yeah.
What?
I know.
What's that?
I know. Imagination. Some kids don't know what it is these
Google
days.
it.
Yeah. But we had this one specific day, made a pulley system from our pergola down to the ground. And then we had like a rope. We got halfway through and we were just about to test it. And I was like, nah, I'm going. And she was like, I'm sorry. We've just spent 2 hours doing this. I'm like, yeah, but I'm bored. I don't want to do it anymore.
You're done.
I'm done. I just didn't care for it anymore. Like as soon as I lose that, I don't want to do it. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
I just never. And she's the opposite. She's like trained. She wanted to be a vet and she's gone through so many different obstacles and like went through a massive breakup. It took her 9 years to get here, but she wanted it so bad. She's going to finish it. And now she's in vet. Well done, Emily, if you're listening to this podcast. So proud of you. But I'm the opposite.
Yeah.
Like I just, if I'm not interested, I'm just not interested. I'm not going to do it anymore. And so I would say that's your strength. And like the fact that when I do want to do something, I go 120%. Like I go, no, Sid, it's bad.
All
it's
or
bad. Like all. Like all and more.
More.
Or nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm
nothing
like,
or less.
I'm like, yes.
All and more or nothing or less.
That's basically exactly it. I'd say that's your strength. And also keep chasing the happiness.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Follow your joy.
Yeah, because like when that day I was sitting at my desk at the car dealership and I was like, nah, this doesn't make me happy. And then I became a dancer. That was the most monumental change in my life.
Epic.
Because I chased the happiness. It was so uncertain.
Yeah.
And it was so not doable, like feasible either.
Yep.
But I was like, yeah, it'll make me happy.
Yeah.
So I did it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think some of the best advice that I've probably come up with or through my own experience that I would give my younger self is, as a freestyle dancer, I now know and we teach that no one can dance like me better than I can dance like me.
Yeah, no one can do you better than you can do you. Like I can't do Sid better than Sid can do Sid.
Nope. I'm the single expert, and each of you are. Each of you are the single expert at what you do. There's 7 billion of us, and not a single other person can do you better than you can do you.
No one can do Brooke Tomo better than Brooke Tomo can do Brooke Tomo.
Yeah, so when you get in touch with that and you wear that with pride and confidence.
Yeah, because uniqueness is so strong. Like it's
so
such
strong.
a good thing to have.
Yeah. And in your high school or your teenage, like it's almost like that's, we were talking about bullying and stuff. It's your uniquenesses that are almost the thing that you just picked on.
Yeah.
But then when you lean into that strength, you were saying you've never been bullied. You lent into your uniqueness. You never felt bullied because you were so confident in your Brooke Tomo-ness.
Yeah.
No one else could be you or do you, so why let anyone else's opinion of you face you?
And you just got to think you're like a legend.
You are.
Because you are.
Everyone
is a legend.
Yeah. So I think if I'd lent into that sooner, that's the thought that kind of helps you really switch everything else off. Judgment, fear, all of that external BS.
And do you know what? I don't look at someone if there was someone who was a replica of me, I wouldn't look at them and be like, I want to be like them. People look at people like with unique traits and go, I want to be like that. Yeah. People look up to people who are different to you. Yep. You look up to people who have something that you don't have.
Yeah, yep.
So you're that person for someone else.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, absolutely.
So cool.
Yep. And when you recognize that for yourself, like it just unlocks so much in your mind. Yeah. Yeah, and allows you to power through, and I love it. I love it.
So many good things.
So many things.
Okay, there was another question saying, who are our top 5 experts?
Yes.
I only have 3.
Okay.
But my 3 are Joe Dispenza. I've spoken about him plenty. He's the science behind all of this stuff that I know.
The quantum physics.
Yeah. Another one, John Gray. Oh, I'm obsessed with him.
Yep.
He's an expert in the relationship field.
Okay.
And everything he says, I just agree with. Legend. He's so clever. And then another one is Eckhart Tolle, and he wrote the book The Power of Now.
Yes.
Which, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend. It's really, really good.
Yeah. I'm about to go through another. I want to get the audiobook and have another listen. I've read it a while ago. I'm due for a refresher.
Yes, it's really good. Who are yours?
Mine are, very similar, Joe Dispenza for his work. And I thank you for introducing me to his work. Yes, that was amazing. But I'm super fascinated with the mind. Like, I've grown up as so psychology was my major back in university. I'm super fascinated with like how we're wired. And I got into the work of Jim Kwik. Jim Kwik, mind expert, and really the concept that, if you change the way you fire the neurons in your brain, that's really what changes everything outside. So Jim Kwik is one of my experts. I recommend, if you haven't heard his work or read his book Limitless, jump on that. That's been a game changer for me. In the business realm, James Wedmore.
Okay.
It was funny. James Wedmore's podcast is actually what connected me to Jim Kwik. And he had Jim on as a speaker. Yeah. But his podcast, it's a business podcast, but it was all about figuring out business from the inside out. So it was all about mindset and applying that to business rather than the doing of business. So those two were super influential. And the third one is Brooke Tomo. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's just this like wisdom bomb dropper. Yeah, just an absolute legend, really. Look her up.
Well, yeah, subscribe to me on YouTube, everyone.
Yeah, Brooke Tomo.
I feel like I do have one-liners, like good one-liners.
Solid.
And people usually go, yeah.
Boom.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes when they drop out, like I feel like you're channeling. Like it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it does. It really does. I'm just a messenger.
You are.
Messenger.
We are. That's what this is. This whole podcast is. Even the way this podcast came about, we'll talk about
Isn't it bizarre?
The genesis of that at one point.
Yeah.
But this podcast was so universally guided.
Yeah.
We just got out of the way.
Yeah, we did.
And this thing just happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're so lucky to be here.
Absolutely. Next question. I love this one. Let's go into this in a bit. What's your perfect future?
Okay, are we talking 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Like, future when?
15 minutes. No.
That's what I mean. That's still the future.
It is a future. Let's go 5 years.
5 years, okay.
Yep.
I'll be third. It's my birthday today, everyone.
Oh, happy birthday.
So yeah, in 5 years, I'll be 33.
33, yep.
Good number, 33. I hopefully have kids.
Yep.
Ew, that's weird to say. That's weird. I'd be a mom.
Yo.
I'd be a cool mom.
Cool mom.
I still want to live here. I love living here. I hope my relationship's happy and healthy like it is now. I hope I'm just happy. And you know what else I want to have?
Yep.
I just want to be so rich, like filthy rich.
Yeah.
Like money. I just want to have money dripping out of my pockets.
Yeah. Just fully
I
connected
have
with
that energy now.
Yeah.
Like I have that. Like I'm convinced when I get in my little Hyundai i30, I'm driving a Tesla.
Yeah.
Like
fully.
I'm convinced.
Yep.
Like I see the logo. That's how you manifest it. You
Yeah.
see
See
it.
it and
You've
you
got to
feel it.
feel it. Like I
Yeah.
feel what it's like. One day I'll skirt up to school in my Tesla. It'll happen. Don't doubt me because it'll happen. Actually, you can doubt me. I don't really care. But yeah, just want to be filthy rich.
Yeah.
So rich. But like
5
still
years,
so
done.
happy. Like I want to be so happy.
And one will come out of the other. I feel like the richness comes out of the happiness. If you're happy first, everything else follows.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
What about you? 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, what are you gonna be?
Yo. In 5 years' time, this is the weird thing. I've never had a future plan.
Right.
I've always had a
No, me
future plan
neither.
of feeling.
Yes.
Rather than doing.
Yes.
And that's been, like, no one taught me to do that. That's just always been a thing I've always, as a kid,
Same actually,
felt
yeah.
better about connecting to how I wanted to feel in the future.
Yeah.
And
that's how
left,
manifestation.
Yeah,
That's
and
how
I
we're
just kind
here
of
right
left
now.
that. It's so weird because like I think about it now. We can talk about it.
Yeah.
But that was never taught to me.
No, me neither.
Yep. I just thought that I want to feel, and so mine's the same. I want to feel happy.
Yeah.
I want to feel grateful.
Yeah.
I want to feel inspired, abundant, inspired, and inspiring. Those. I mean, these are the values I live by. I want to be inspired to inspire.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
whatever
that's
that looks
cool.
like, and some of the stuff that's panning out at the moment is stuff that I wouldn't even expect. Like, I'm getting to do work with the Olympics.
Yeah,
and
what?
Like that, even as a kid.
You choreographed Miss Universe.
Yeah, like
Who does that?
Miss World.
Miss World.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
my bad. Miss
Yeah,
World.
the next step up is the universe. So that's the next.
Coming for you.
This one is only this planet, and then
But like you.
yeah. When did how does
When
that
did
happen?
you
How did
choreograph
that-
like 6-foot models?
Yeah, teach them how to walk. Like silly,
So cool.
silly stuff. Like it's just this.
And people have the audacity to say, I can't do something.
Yeah.
Sid choreographed Miss World.
Yeah, this dude. Oh, the video's finished, but you know what I look like.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pointing to myself. Yeah, and I think that's what has been so exciting by living in that future state of just being, of just picturing the being and the feeling.
Yep.
The experiences that I've allowed to let me feel that way, or the experiences that I've received.
Yeah, you've received. Yeah.
I've received some epic stuff.
Because you made it that way.
Yeah,
Just saying.
totally.
You decided I want that bubble. So
At the highest level, like I get to say that I've opened for the Queen. Like how nuts is that? Like that's an experience that I wouldn't have pictured in my head to be like, oh, in this many years, I want to open for the Queen.
Do you know what? You know how we've spoken about the bubbles, like in manifesting. That's how you manifest is by letting these bubbles float to you. I reckon they're all categorized. I reckon in like this segment, there's stress and anger, and if you're manifesting feeling stress and anger, then any possible scenario from there could float to you.
Right. Yeah.
Happiness, contentment,
Yeah.
abundant, live like thriving.
Yep.
That's where you emceed for the Queen, and
Yep.
you're just funneling all those to you.
Yep.
But you can change
Yeah.
at any time. Let them funnel.
Absolutely. And you're constantly funneling everything all the time. So even the things happening now, whether it's good or bad or ugly, you're funneling that because of your... Listen to the whole manifestation episode we break it down. But yeah, future 5 years' time, 10 years. I mean, the Olympics is going to be here in Brisbane in 10 years' time.
Yeah, and you'll be emceeing it.
That I'll be involved in some way, shape or form.
That's so
Guaranteed.
Cool. That's so cool.
So
You're
I
so cool.
don't know what's going to happen between
Who does
now
that?
and then.
Who MCs the Olympics?
Silly. It's silly.
Silly, but like
Thanks
legendary.
Thanks for they just let me be me, which I love. Thanks,
Yeah.
universe, for just letting me be. I love this. When people ask me what I do for a living, I just tell them that I be Sid.
And you do.
I do.
And
I
you do
just
it
be
so
Sid.
well because no one can do Sid like Sid can do Sid.
One and only.
And it's so cool.
my job.
And because you think so highly of yourself, like you get given those opportunities that people think highly of you as well.
Yeah, true that.
Because you don't keep your enemies close, because who would do that?
Nah, don't.
Don't do that.
Don't.
It's bad
Please,
advice.
stop. Oh, I would love, actually, on that note, I would love you guys to share the worst advice you have been given. Because we're out here, we're sharing, there's a whole bunch of good advice going around. And this podcast is going to be filled with good advice.
Yeah.
For this episode, I would just love you to share your tokenistic bad advice so we can take a look at that, break those BSs.
And then someone else might see it and be like, oh, that's bad advice? Like, some
Totally.
people might not even know that keeping your enemies close is bad.
Some people may look at that as good advice, but if we can be aware of other BSs, that's awareness is that first step, baby.
You, on that note, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
We appreciate you all.
We love you.
We love you.
Bye.